Elyse-anne. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I cannot wait to share this week's topic with you, how to handle and manage rejection. So if you're new to my world, basically, I'm elyse-anne. I'm your host for this show and the founder and creator of the Spiritual Entrepreneurs on the Facebook group. And we help spiritual visionary entrepreneurs create a purposeful spiritual business, make meaningful money, and live a delightful, rich life the way they desire it. So I want to warmly welcome you to this week's show. And if you have missed the episodes, the other episodes, and you would like to catch up on it, go ahead to, my website is there, elyse-anne.com, and you can catch up on the shows. And I have I call it the Daily E. You can catch up on my daily blogs all over there as well. And by the way, it's a brand new website. I absolutely love it. So let's dive straight away into the topic, shall we? And by the way, if you have any questions, please go ahead and press *2 at the end of somewhere in the middle of the show if you're on the instant teleseminar. So obviously, if you're watching this on Google Hangout, then there is no *2 for you to press. All right, so the best way to get your questions answered live is to type in via the chat box on the instant teleseminar link, or join the Facebook group, the Spiritual Entrepreneurs, and get your answers posted there, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So today I don't have two laptops. I only have one laptop to go back and forth between the Google Hangout and instant teleseminar. So I'll be drifting, like my eyes going like this, but I'm still here for you and with you. All right, so I want to share a personal story with you when I was just starting out. And, we all start at zero. Oh, by the way, I felt I just wanted to do my smoky eyes today. I just wanted to feel beautiful. So this is one of the ways where you can boost up your confidence to make yourself feel good when the rejection hits. All right. Anyway, so you just do whatever it takes. All right, so I want to share a story with you when I was just starting out. We all start at zero. And I was building my email list, right? And then I'll be really absolutely thrilled when someone signs up for my email list. I'm like, oh my God, somebody wants to hear from me. Yeah. And then you see that number jump from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And then it began to grow. And then you have 10 people, and then 20 people, and then 30 people, and then 40 people. And then you get really excited, right? And then you do your best to engage with the people, you give your best, you share, and then what happens? 1 subscribes, 2 subscribes, and then I felt like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me, and I could really feel this in my tummy, this invisible, this perpetually diarrhea, but you don't go to the toilet kind of diarrhea, and there was this, I just felt so painful. It's like, and then I started to think, why? I mean, I give my best, and then here people are unsubscribing. So here's the thing. It is absolutely normal for people to unsubscribe. I mean, even like until now, especially if you have grown your email list to 100, 200, 500, and then you start sending out solo mails. So solo mails are different from your newsletter. So I want to talk a little bit about the newsletter. You should be sending out newsletter to keep in contact with your people. And someone was asking on the Spiritual Entrepreneur group, so how much of selling do I do on the email list? First of all, you don't want to be seen as spam, right? So you want to create value on your email list, so you don't spend them all the time with promotions. So if you're on my email list, and if you're not, you should get onto it. Okay, go to elyse-anne.com and go get the video series on how to make 10K, or just sign up to stay in contact. So basically, what I do is on Mondays, I send out my email list, and on those days, I basically catch up with my tribe, like what has been going on the week, during the week, and what I've learned. So usually I don't duplicate that on the blog because it's really boring. I mean, think about it. If you're sharing it on your blog, so why would people want to join your list? It does not make sense. They might as well not join, right? So even for me until now, I do, hang on, my earpiece dropped. So yeah, so there is a 80-20% rule. That's what the gurus recommend. But sometimes I have nothing to promote, so I don't just promote for the sake of promoting. So basically, I just catch up, send them to my website, and that's when you see a spike in if you have Google Analytics. So I'm just digressing. So it's 80-20%, and then that's when we at some point in time we will launch certain things. We'll launch a program, we'll launch we'll launch a teleseminar, we'll launch something. That is when you send your solo mails out. That is when you send your emails more than once a week, right? And I noticed that it's during those times where people start to unsubscribe, and I'm like, oh my god, but this is like, my next one is about intuition, how to trust and use your intuition to create and build your purposeful spiritual business, right? So in launches like this, I would send solo mails to invite people to opt in and to, so that they can get the details of the teleseminar. And you won't be surprised. I guarantee there'll be people who unsubscribe. So therefore, it is so important for you to continuously add people to your list so that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that unsubscribe will not affect you. And as women, we take a lot of things very personally. We do not function like men. Men have this ability to compartmentalize. Well, not all men. Maybe the new age, the snags men, they are as emotional as us, right? But generally, as women, they don't compartmentalize their emotions. So everything take it so personal. So like myself, when I was a very new entrepreneur, I really literally took it literally. Excuse me. So even like for now, I mean, sometimes I see my friends unsubscribe and I'm like, why? But that's absolutely fine. You have to understand that we are all given free will, and maybe sometimes your message does not resonate with them, and it's not about you, right? So when the faster you realize that it's not about you, don't take it personally, you actually take it, it's easier to overcome it. And the next thing is, if you see like a spike increase of like unsubscribers, then it's time for you to like, it should be ringing some bells, and ask yourself, pause and think, why are people unsubscribing in huge numbers? Did you say something, do something, whatever it is, right? So, and I want to read a passage from this book. I think it's an excellent book. I mean, it's learned from successful people, successful women, how they deal with crap in their lives. And I want to remind you that as spiritual entrepreneurs, especially, not just entrepreneurs, all right? If you are a visionary entrepreneur, then expect rotten eggs to be thrown at you all the time. Because here's the thing, the fact is, what stops people from actually getting visible? This visibility thing is such a huge topic. So what is stopping people from getting visible is this rotten egg syndrome. They don't want to be subjected to negativity. They don't want people to, the need to be right. Oh, this is my thing. I have to learn it the hard way. The need to be right, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being criticized. And because it's not a nice feeling, it's a very yucky feeling, right? So Tony Robbins say whatever we do is to either move towards that feeling or to move away from that feeling. So being rejected is a yucky feeling. So we will do whatever it takes to hang on to those subscribers. We will do whatever it takes to hang on to that guy who deep in your heart and your gut that it's a no-go situation for you. But you do whatever it takes to hang on to these people who are not for your highest good, because it doesn't feel good, right? So it's that rejection that, oh, there's something, and then it reminds you of, oh, there's something wrong with me, I'm not worth it, and that sort of thing. So whenever you are triggered, it's not about the other person, it's always about you. And especially if you desire to go bigger and bigger, then you need to use these emotions as teachers and to be a bigger person. All right. I mean, I started this spiritual, I realized that whenever I post a very strong, opinionated post, there will be people, there'll be one or two that will like start to like bombard and why you say this and blah 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 blah. Initially, I mean, I'm still working on it. Like it would just drive me crazy. I would again feel that that invisible diarrhea in my tummy. Like why I'm, and I've come to realize, and so I said something on my personal page and I posted on the Spiritual Entrepreneurs group as well. When you speak your truth, you actually weed out those that are not your ideal clients. Because when you speak your truth, there's 7 billion people on earth. Look at the religion. I mean, there's so many religions. None is the best or none is the worst. They started because for one reason, and that is to raise the consciousness of humanity and do good and be good and, move towards God, right? So look at our fingers, right? Like even side by side, every finger is different. Every thumbprint is different, is unique. So we are all different based on our belief system at that point of time, based on what we are going through. This is what we are defending because this is the result that we have created, and nobody likes to be said you're wrong, right? So when you say something that is of truth and they are triggered, that means somehow deep inside within them, they are resonating with it, but they are unwilling to admit it, so they're directing their anger at you. So I want you to know that it is not personal. It is absolutely not personal, because it's ringing some kind of chord within them, and you've strike a chord within them, and so they don't know how to deal with that anger, and boom, you are the unlucky one. So as a matured visionary leader, you cannot take these personally. Look at Obama, look at Oprah, look at those successful leaders. I'm sure they get crap every day. So they cannot take it personally, otherwise they cannot function as a leader. So I just want you to know that if someone is attacking you because you've said something, know that you make sense, and they're not willing to admit it, because then they would have to admit that they are wrong and you are right. But here's the thing, it's nothing to do with right or wrong. It's just something that you internally believe, and every trigger is something, it's a key to your treasure, it's a key to your freedom. So it's like God gives you lessons in life, and if you don't work on your lessons, it's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally, bam, you have no choice but to deal with it. So the universe will give you a small little tap. You don't deal with it. Hello. Okay, you don't deal with it. Hello. You don't do it. Bam. Right? So you really have no choice. And these emotional triggers are what should I call this? Are keys. What's that word? Oh my God. They are little wake-up calls, right? They are signs for you to go deep, go to the next level. So I wanted to go to the next level this year. Who doesn't, right? Whenever you reach a level, you want to go to another level. It's not because you're greedy, but you just know that you have so much more potential that can come out of you. So naturally, you want to proceed to another level, because if you can have more, you will do more and be more, and that sort of good stuff, right? So, and then you tell your subconscious, unconscious mind, you tell the universe, I want to go to the next level, show me how, and bam, the next thing that comes along is someone that rejects you, someone that does this, someone that does that. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so this rejection thing is something really common, and if you are in business, you are in sales, and you will get no pretty often, and if you take it literally, you are pretty doomed, because very soon you'll be, boom, I'm closed. I'm done with this. I'm not going to do my business anymore. So I want you to understand that when your potential client says no to you, it doesn't mean no forever. It's just no for right now. No, thank you. I mean, think about how I'm sure you're following many other gurus as well, right? And maybe at that point in time, they're just not the right one for you. But it does not mean that you don't want to work with them in the future, right? So we follow gurus as and when what do you call it? Depending on where we are, right? So like maybe perhaps they're just starting out. $1 million guru, $1 million coach may not be suitable for you this time, because right now what you need is get clarity on your purpose, get clarity on your marketing message, and get clarity in who your tribe is, and to really create your website, build your list, and this and that. So when you are just not there yet, because at that level you'll be discussing about growing your team and multiplying your income and that sort of stuff. So you may not be there yet, right? So that $1 million coach may not be suitable for you right now. But that doesn't mean that you eliminate or you rule out the possibility of working with this person in the future, right? So same thing, if you are making multiple six figures, or even crossing the 7-figure mark, or the 8-figure mark, or whatever it is, you will not hire somebody who is teaching the startup scene, how to build a list, how to do a lead page, how to do a squeeze page. What does YouTube mean? You will not hire someone like this. So the thing is, there are plenty of clients to go around, and there is a coach meant for everyone to go around. So I want you to understand that in your prospect's mind, it's the same thing when they say no to you. It doesn't mean no forever. Maybe you're just too basic, or you're too advanced for them at that moment. So, like I said, the sooner you taking it personally out of the equation, the faster you can overcome this. So I want you to understand that, no is really part of the deal, all right? And especially when, say, you want to work with someone, say a joint venture with some gurus, right? And more often than not, you're either not going to hear a reply from them, or if they do, they may not want to work with you. So then what, right? So then you work on yourself. You make sure that you raise your level, you raise your bar, you raise your game, and find how you can be attractive enough for these gurus to want to work with you, be on your teleseminar or whatever it is. So I think sometimes when we take no not literally, we can use the no really to move on and inspire ourselves to be a better person and play a bigger game. So I don't believe in competition, but I am a very competitive person with myself, because I know that I can be so much more. I know that I can do so much more. I know what I can achieve, right? Because I've gone so far. If I'm right at the beginning, maybe you will have doubts. I'm like, are you sure you can do this? I don't know. So that is when people around you will start to mirror your fears. I mean, trust me, most entrepreneurs, when they're starting out, they get the same. Are you sure? Are you crazy? What makes you think you can do it? Blah, 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 blah. So they are basically mirroring your fears. They are mirroring your own worries and doubts. And I can guarantee you, once you eliminate them, and when you have successes, like, you don't even need to have big success, but like, you host an instant teleseminar, or you host something and there is people who turn out, and you just find small little successes like this to build your confidence, and I can guarantee you these people disappear, right? Because everything in life is about attraction, right? You attract the people who are radiating and vibrating at the same level as you are. Okay, so I'm going to read this passage. It's from page 31, and it makes so much sense. So learn from outspoken women who can take the heat. So why do you want to learn from them? Because they get more crap than us, right? I mean, think Hillary Clinton, right? Stick your neck out in public to confront the status quo, and you might well become a target for criticism. Women leaders with strong opinions must prepare for pushback. Nobody with a thin skin will survive an onslaught of negative feedback, but other strong women have learned how to handle pushback, and some have even benefited from the publicity. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is used to taking the heat, possibly the most famous woman in the world, with a 67% popularity rating. Clinton spent 5 hours being hazed and insulted during a 2013 congregational testimony about the terrorist attack in Benghazi. Finally, after being repeatedly interrupted by a senator, she allowed herself to get angry, stood her ground, and made her point. 4 Americans are dead. I take full responsibility, she said. So the truth is, you know, the world is built on the masculine role. And so I think women in this time, it's, you know, it is a very interesting time for us women because we know we can cook, we can take care of the house, we can be a good senator, and so on and so forth. And yet all these are not enough to prove that we women are good enough, we are worth it. And so we have all these going on. And so, you know, if you start a business and you are a spiritual entrepreneur and you know your gifts and talents can potentially change the world or make someone's life a better one, then you have to speak up. There's no other way about it. So by speaking your truth, you know, there will be people who hate you, but then again, you will actually have more people who love you because you actually speak up and you speak their language. You speak something that they do not dare to talk about. And so that is liberation. You give them the permission to be themselves. And so therefore, you are seen as a leader. And by that, you will start attracting the clients or your potential clients or even your tribe. Everybody needs a tribe, right? And so even in my own spiritual entrepreneurs, in my own page, I am very direct. I say it as it is. There's basically not much of a filter. And I get backlash as well. And it hurts, honestly, it hurts. But, you know, of course, initially I took it really personally. So being in a leadership position, if you want to lead, then you got to deal with it. And if you cannot manage your own emotions and you go blah, 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 people are also watching you. So you have to use your own good judgment, whether it is time to like defend or not, or how, you know, you have to use your own good judgment. And I have learned that, of course, initially I was very hot-headed. The minute I see it, boom, you know, I'll just blash, da, 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 da. I think you'll get to a point where, you know, it's not worth fighting. And I think Joel Osteen also did mention you fight the wars that are meaningful. And sometimes people can't see what you see because they're not at that level. You know, when I was a cabin crew, there are 4 levels. So basically the normal cabin crew that serves you, and then there is the purser, and then there'll be the senior purser, and there'll be the manager, right? So at this level, you can hear they're like always bitching and complaining. Why is she deciding like this? Why? You're always questioning your leaders. And until I was promoted to this stage, and then you have so much responsibility, and sometimes you just cannot please everyone, and you just got to make decisions based on whatever that is present. And you know, as long as the passengers are happy, you know, sometimes you just have to do it. So until I was at this level, I wasn't able to understand. So in a leadership position, there will be times where, you know, you're called to make certain decisions and your people do not understand. So like when in my group, I started saying, I had a news flash. And of course, one person was saying that, you know, you are so insensitive. And what did she say? You do not see us as equal. But on the contrary, I see everyone having that same potential. I see everyone having, you know, it really pains my heart for women to self-abandon themselves and betray themselves by giving free services and then not have anything in return because they're so afraid nobody's going to hire them. So I'm not saying that she's in the wrong, neither I'm saying I'm in the right. It just depends on where you are at in life, right? So I want you to really think about where you are right now and where you desire to be, and make decisions from where you desire to be. Because if you're making decisions from where you want to be and you want to get to there, what's going to happen is you're not going to get there because you're making decisions on what you know right now, and what you know right now is creating a reality that you don't really exactly desire and want. So based on your limited thinking, how can you create a life that you desire? So that's what my intention was, right? And I see so many women going around seeking free advice and this and that, and then not willing to invest in themselves, invest in their business, and then just seeking. So how is this a visionary leader, right? And then going like $20, no, 20%. It's like, come on, right? We as a collective group, if you want to be a visionary leader, then you have to think like a visionary leader and get yourself out of this situation. Like Lisa, I can't remember her last name, but you know that lady who was in The Secret, even she said, we make decisions when we are at rock bottom. That's the truth. Until you cannot tolerate this, it is. So whenever you hear a no, I want you to really anchor into your mission, because I want you to know that you're not here on earth to serve all 7 billion people. You are here and you have a contract to serve a certain amount of people. And in business, I mean, you need to be visible to get out there so that these people know that you exist and they can find you and work with you. It's not the other way where I just decide I'm going to do this and then the people are going to show up. Right? So I want you to think about Oprah, Bob Proctor, and Lisa, and Alan, and all the big names. Even like Neil Donald Walsh, he was homeless for years before he wrote and multiple best-selling books. Right? So if he had taken that huge no, literally, he wouldn't have gotten where to where he is today, and he wouldn't be impacting so many lives today. So I want you to know that whatever you're going through right now, you may feel like it is crap, but God has a bigger purpose for you. So I say this example a lot. Like, so say for example, you are happily married and you are a divorce counselor. How credible are you? Because the people who are going through that divorce, they'll be scratching their head. Even though you are the best divorce counselor, right? But you don't really know exactly how it feels to be going through a divorce. You may be an excellent counselor. Don't get me wrong. I'm very sure you're an excellent counselor. You're an excellent coach. But until you really walk in their shoes and understand how painful, how many sleepless nights they have gone through, you probably will not understand what it really, really means. So if you have a mission, it is best for you to actually embrace your lessons and embrace your journey so that you can really understand what people are going through, right? Like for me, I have really gone through my $1 days because I didn't know better. I thought it was fated. It is my destiny. I didn't know how to do it. Maybe God is a cosmic joke. God is playing a trick on me and stuff like this. So I know how it feels like. And I literally started with learning how to build a website from scratch by myself. So when someone tells me that I don't know how to do this, I have no pity for you. Honestly, because you can do it by yourself. And honestly, nobody's coming to save you. If you're expecting someone to come save you, then I'm sorry, the news is nobody's coming to save you except you and you yourself. And it is time for you to work on your relationship with God and and ask him, so show me what I need to do. And trust me, how to differentiate between whether it's an ego self or divine self. Sometimes when the ideas comes in, you're like, really? Are you sure? It's like, your logical thinking would come up with a certain ideas. It's like very common, but your divine self will come up with an absolute different thing. So your divine self may, God may just say, you should leave this person alone because da 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 da. But your ego self, like, I'm just going to do this. How am I going to handle this? Da 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 da. So let me share this really transparent with you. I mean, it's like I started a business with my husband, and I'm very involved with the business, obviously, because I'm so much ahead further than him. And there was a deal that came in. I'm like, oh my God, so what should I do? What should I do? What should I do? What should I do? And I said, okay, so I'm going to go to sleep I'm going to sleep on it. And when I wake up, I am going to have the answer. So I couldn't sleep. And at 5 o'clock, I had this voice that said, you know what, you should not worry, hands off, let your husband handle it because he needs to learn and grow from it. So, and I'm like, really? So I want you to know that a divine voice is like this. Obviously, when I told my husband, he wasn't really happy, so he's got to learn how to take no for an answer, right? So sometimes no is actually a lesson for you to be a better person, right? And to be compassionate with yourself. I want you to know that you have to really anchor in that you're not meant to serve everyone and anyone. And especially if I want to say this over and over again, you have to have the courage to speak up. Because if you are a visionary leader and your tribe, your people, they need a source of light. They need a source of encouragement. They need a source of someone to anchor in and to hold them accountability and to show that they can do it as well. And so just imagine you're like going, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, no. You're not going to do very well. So as a visionary leader and an entrepreneur, it's okay to speak your truth. I'm not saying that you go curse and swear like Kanye West, right? That's a bit over the top, but learn to channel that inner bitch, and it's okay. It's really okay. So work on those invisible barriers in your tummy, because they tell you a lot of stories. Why are you having this internal barrier? I have to work on it myself. Like, maybe I'm not good enough. Why is there a need to be right? Oh, this is a huge thing for me. There's always this need to be right. Let me share really transparently with you what's going on behind the scenes. Everybody thinks like, oh, the spiritual entrepreneur group is growing, is growing, is growing. It's growing because my mission is really clear, and I desire to have the biggest spiritual entrepreneurs network in the world. Wow, right? If God gave me this spiritual entrepreneurs to start and nobody started it and I got the thing just like this, then it's my mission. See, here's the thing, right? People struggle and they think, it's so many obstacles. And so they take it as a sign, literally, like, God doesn't want me to succeed. The universe doesn't want me to succeed. But because you're not tapping into the divine, you're not tapping into the higher consciousness. When you are struggling, it could mean it's either you're not tapping the divine, it's coming from the ego self, it's coming from fear, or time is not right. So you have to check in and to connect with that higher self, connect with that divine self, connect with God to see what's going on, right? So it didn't come easy for me. Since last year, October, I knew my business was going through another shift, but I don't know what. I don't know how. I just could feel it, right? If you're intuitive, you will feel it. And so I'm like, I've been asking, so what is it? 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 I was getting really frustrated. So I was trying to do personality branding. I was trying to do this. I was just trying to do so many things, just try to fit in. So in your deep self that this is not your calling because it's not aligned. So just play the whole tape through, right? And then finally on the 1st of January, something was downloaded to me. It was downloaded to me and says start the spiritual entrepreneurs. So I went to Facebook, I started the spiritual entrepreneurs, I looked for the name. Well, nobody had the name, so I did it. And within 3 months, it's about 1,700 members and still growing. And honestly, I'm not doing anything much to grow that so-called the group. And every day there are like 10, 20 people wanting to come in. So that's the flow. That is the flow. It's effortless living. So I had to take a lot of no's before this yes came up. So it's almost as God wants you to step up. You have to be a different person to have a different result. So if you just think about this, what kind of leader do you want to be? Right? And I'm thinking about it the same way. As I grow and I'm thinking, so what kind of leader do I want to be? What kind of coach do I want to be? What kind of And so definitely one that's not always triggered, one that is not always angry, one that's not judgmental. Come on, we all judge, right? And so this is a huge learning curve for me as well. Okay, I mean, we are women, like I said, so we do take things personally. And so I'm using this. It's not about that person. In fact, I thank this person for bringing this emotion up in me, because if not for this person, it would stay dormant in my tummy or in my unconscious, because Carl Jung said, until you make unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you'll call it fate. So I thank this person, because everything is not happening to you, everything is happening for you. So everything good or bad is happening for you to grow. So I want you to actually thank this person, because without this person who is triggering you, you will not be able to grow, and God forbid something bigger will happen. So I thank this person for bringing up, and I'm like, okay, so it's not about you, it's about me. And you know, you gotta just chant some kind of mantra. It's not about that person, it's always about you. So what is it? Come on, give it to me now. So that's where you work on the shadow. You may journal it, or you may find someone who's experienced doing shadow. I love shadow work, okay, because it goes right bam to the source. So when you do healing, I mean, nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just, I just want fast results. You know what I mean? I don't want to like go past life and then, okay, no, I don't want to do that. I want just bam, wham, you know, that's it. Come on, give it to me. I'm like this because I don't want to continuously go through the same lesson, right? I mean, gosh, you know, I've got 3 kids and I hello. So I will wanna go right to source, and that is when I reach out to someone who is experienced in shadow work, and we can work the shadow together. And the shadow is something that it's not in your conscious, so therefore if you're consciously aware of it, it's not the shadow. So it's not like, oh, I'm just changing my belief system. If I'm not making 10K a month, that means I don't believe that I'm deserved, I'm worth it. So why are you not worth it? There's somewhere in your life and someone told you that you're not worth it. So what's that feeling? So I've always had the need of being right. I know that. I know like Elyse always right, right? But of course there are situations that always prove that Elyse is always right. But whenever that somebody disagrees, bam, wham, you know, that oh, you know, so I know. And again, it's not about that person, it's always about you. So I ask myself, why do I need to be right? And then it traced back to a time. There's so many times, right, in my childhood where I feel like I'm less than, my sister is better than me. And when I was working, you know, as a cabin crew, the first job, they always tell you that, you know, just apologize, just say sorry, even though you didn't do it, just to make life easy. And then there was so much suppressed anger in me. And so there is this need to prove. And my sister, I know, I always feel like my mom loves my sister more, and she's the good one, I'm the crazy one, you know. And so there's always this need to prove that I'm right, I'm good enough. There's always this need. And using that feeling, what is it that I'm avoiding? I'm avoiding failure, because then I don't want to be judged. It makes me feel like crap. It makes me feel like a loser. And then so we go through these things, and then to get to the core of whatever the story is, whatever that shadow is, I want to show you, you know, that they, you know, you could draw it. And there was this urge for me to draw that feeling and how that thing is, because I really can't see what it is, but I knew how it is, and there was an image, and so I drew this. This was how that thing looked like. All right. And so, oh yeah, I want to share with you. And then I wrote something on Facebook on my own personal page where I felt like there's so many people, right, excuse me, right now just showing their lifestyle, like, you know, as a result of coaching, my lifestyle is so fantastic, blah, blah, blah. So I cannot help but to wonder, I mean, are you showcasing your lifestyle and your coaching is to fund your lifestyle? But I thought coaching is supposed to help someone and use it. So it just didn't make sense. So it's like you're using coaching to fund your extravagant lifestyle. And it's like, to me, prostitution. So I think the word prostitution was a trigger word to everyone else. And so it's like money. We avoid talking about money. It's like sex. We don't talk about sex because it's a taboo subject. And as a poised woman and as a woman of integrity, we do not speak like this. You know, it's like, oh, why? Because prostitution, right? Prostitutes are bad. We have this, we are judging prostitutes, right? Because we all know, well, if we all had the choice, who would want to be a prostitute, right? So it's not that we're judging prostitutes. It's because we know that they are doing it for survival, for their families. So they're doing something yucky to survive. So I put that together, two and two together. So if you are selling your services, what's the difference with selling your soul? So I put that, and there was bong. So I was just speaking my truth. I wasn't judging. It wasn't a judgment post. So see, here's the thing, right? You can post something up with good intentions, and depending on where that person is, and depending on the mood of that person on that day, it could ring a lot of bells, right? That whole intention of your good intention may completely be missed. It'll be a hit and run. So don't take it personally. I mean, it's like, I know personally that I need to work out and do some baby fats. And so if somebody were to just say, oh, you're looking a little bit chubby, you know, so I get triggered. So is that person's fault? Maybe she doesn't mean it. It's like, oh my God, you're looking so good right now. You're looking better with some baby fat. So you don't know. I mean, people go through, you're not living in that person's head, and therefore you're not responsible for what they think, but they are just pushing it, they're projecting it on you. All right, so I want you to get really, really clear on that. So this is the shadow. So I talked about that prostitution. So I put two and two together. So, oh my God, now I realized, oh yeah. So therefore, people in the spiritual community find it so hard to sell. It's because, first of all, most of us starts with the stage where you are surviving. And so, you know, that's why when your business don't go and grow as fast or as much as you desire, you always want to go back to a job, because that's survival. And I say sometimes it's not a bad thing. I mean, if you want to raise your level of frequency, you want to get out of survival mode, then you need some sort of income to fund your mission. And even Doreen Virtue wrote an article about it. And so lots of people start a business, they use their mission as a way to make money. But it is the other way. The money is to fund your mission, and whatever your mission is, and the money is coming through and from your business. So if you don't have enough money to go rebrand or this or that, or want to hire a coach, a mentor, an expert, then maybe getting a part-time job may not be a bad thing, right? It's not a bad thing because, hang on. Oh no, is the Skype still on? Let me check. Am I still there? Okay, hang on. I think I need to call the Skype back. Hang on. That is when we are on technology, and sometimes, yeah. So this is about technology. Sometimes I have no control over technology, and that's how it is. All right, so I'm gonna hop over to the Q&A and see if there, okay, I have one. When is rejection feedback? Is rejection ever feedback? So it's always a feedback, because sometimes at the end of a sales conversation per se, and after every sales conversation, I would oh, I could have done this better, I could have done this better, I could have done this. And especially if someone says no to me, then I go into my meditation cave and ask myself, why? Is it because I didn't, that's when you use your intuition. Sometimes you know that person, you can help that person, but you let that person go so easily because that person say, I don't have the money. And if you are not strong in your own money story, you're actually going to believe it and you let that person go. And trust me, this person has been using I don't have enough money to get herself out of a lot of situations. So at the end of the day, you are here to teach the person to up level. And therefore, if you let the person go just because she says she doesn't have the money, you're not helping her. And trust me, I want you to know that everyone has the money. If they want a Starbucks coffee, they will go freaking find the money to buy Starbucks. If they want to go on a Bali vacation, they will go find the money to, but it's just that they're not used to investing in themselves. Ultimately, if you're in a service, we're selling something invisible. So it's always a feedback. A rejection is always a feedback. So a rejection, it depends. If it's triggering you, then it's always a feedback. It's always about you. If someone says no and you're like, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. Oh, so then yes. Okay, so then yes, use that trigger, use that emotion to dive deeper and see what's really behind that emotion, right? Because people have free will, they can say whatever they want, right? So it depends. And like I said early on, if there are like 50 people who suddenly unsubscribe from your list, then yes, that's absolutely a clear feedback. Alrighty. How do you manage emotional triggers? Is it about managing our beliefs? Oh, this is beyond belief system. This is, like I said, initially what I thought was, okay, so look at your results right now. And then what are your belief systems? Your belief systems could be, I don't deserve, I'm not lovable, da 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 da, right? This is the superficial side. This is just getting clear on your belief systems. Emotional triggers, it's that why do you feel you are unlovable? Why do you feel you don't deserve love? Why do you feel, what's that feeling? Then that is that trigger. So the belief system is just the superficial part, but the emotional triggers shows you where you are stuck. It's your shadow. So you need to work on the shadow work. You need to really dive deeper into and uncovering and making the unconscious conscious. How do I manage my triggers? Oh, I get angry. The first thing is I will get angry, right? That's when you know that you are triggered, right? And when I'm triggered enough, of course, I allow myself to get angry and emote and bitch and swear and complain. And then that anger, you can use that anger in, it's like water. Water gives life or it takes life. So same thing with anger. Do not react. Do not do anything when you're angry, because when you're angry and make that decision, boom, it's not serving anyone. So learn to just keep to yourself and allow and scream in the pillow if you need to. I scream in the pillow all the time. And then I start having a conversation with myself. It's, if you really want to dive deep, like I say, work with someone on the shadow work, but this will definitely help to keep you sane. So I ask myself, first of all, why the hell am I triggered? Why am I allowing this person to control my emotions? Do I want it? No. Okay, so it's not about this person. Thank this person and let him go, because it's really not about that person. It's always about you. So, and then you ask yourself, what exactly am I really angry about? So give an example, like, I have this thing about my weight now, right? Like I really desire to be in the more curvier body, in the more sexy body, but I'm not, because I'm not taking responsibility. But right now I am. Every night I'm working out, I'm walking outside, right? So it feels really good. But prior to this, I'm just sitting down there and I'm like, oh, I look at my tummy and I'm like, yeah. So someone says you're really chubby and then you get really offended. So you dive deeper and like, why am I really offended? What does it really mean? Because it really shows that I'm irresponsible. I'm not taking good care of myself, and I'm such an idiot. So it's all about me and why am I feeling? So you ask yourself these questions to get to work on your emotional triggers. All right. How do you handle rejection from yourself? I guess it's about handling doubts from ourselves. Can doubts be used to indicate that our current path is not ideal and there is a better path elsewhere? So this, I believe, this is where what I call the mind monkeys and the mind chatter. Um, so if you can, how do you handle rejection from yourself? This statement alone tells me that you don't really know yourself, you don't really love yourself, and therefore there are doubts. And if see, here's the thing, right? Most people are trained to see and then believe. If you're an entrepreneur, by default, you are a creator in your life, and you believe, then you see. So when you have doubts and strengthen your relationship with God, what that tells me is you're having a lot of conversation with ego self versus you're having conversation with your higher self and God. So it's time for you to connect that channel. Go, I want you to sign up for the free class on how to trust and use your intuition to build a purposeful spiritual business. It's that intuition, right? It's the intuition that I followed that got me from a stay-at-home mom to a award-winning mom, right? So this is something that you need to work on yourself. You need to get to know yourself really, really well. So can doubts be used? Now let's put it this way. If you have a desire, if God has given you that mission, if you had that mission, why is it that the solutions are not present? So if you're looking for another way, it could be it's just like your ego taking you away from your mission and putting in all the bright and shiny objects in your path to steer you away from the real mission. So if you have a tendency of always bright shiny objects, like allowing the bright and shiny objects to what do you call this, to seduce you, then it's something that obviously that it's your ego self talking to you versus your higher self. And that is where you need to build that trust and connection with your higher self, with God, and know it doesn't happen overnight like this. You have to build that relationship and build that trust. How do I know this is from my ego self or from it's something that you need to, like how God speaks to me, it may be different from how God speaks with you. So you got to build that relationship with him. Alrighty, next. Then what about relationship coaches who are single? Interesting. I love this one. I have no judgment on that, and I believe that most relationship coaches who are single is because this is their mission, and we all teach what we need to learn. When I was a relationship coach and I was coached, okay, let me be really transparent with you already. So when I was a love and relationship coach, I was married with three children. So I leveraged on that to build my credibility. And guess what? As I was helping other women go after it, find their loved one, I found cracks in my relationship. I wasn't really happy and I wanted to divorce my husband. And then my husband called me a fraud and I felt like a fraud. Right? Like here I am, a relationship coach, love guru, and then my relationship is crumbling. But my rationale, my answer was because if I'm teaching other people how to do it and they could find their own happiness and I'm not happy, so why should I just stay for the sake of staying to portray this perfect persona while I'm not happy? So we all have our own journey, and of course I decided to stay my husband because I was being superficial. I was judging him, and so it was my own journey, and of course he has his own journey, and we are not perfect as a human being, and we all have our own flaws to deal with. So I decided to just accept him for who he is, and he's not a bad guy, right? So I started to focus on his good points, and then our relationship strengthens. And from there, it was just a very open and honest conversation. And in my own relationship, I have learned a lot, and he has taught me a lot. So I'm very sure those relationship coaches, a lot of my coaches are relationship coaches, and they are single, because it is their path, it is their journey, and they just want to share. And at the end of the day, it's not about love for someone else. It's about the love for yourself, self-love. Love is self-love. Until you learn how to love yourself the right way, you can't teach someone else how to love you the right way. And they may be single, but who knows, they may be dating, and this is their personal choice. So why are you judging them, right? Alrighty, no more questions. let's go online and see if there are any questions for me. No. How about the Facebook? Is there any question for me on the Facebook? Yep, if you can hear screaming, that's my daughters. They just came back from a walk outside. Alrighty, so looks like we are pretty done with the questions. I do hope that you have enjoyed this morning's, my morning, your Sunday maybe, wherever you are in the world, this week's morning show and this topic. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and get on my mailing list, where I share my own personal story and my personal lessons only on my email list. And at the same time, if you are not already part of the awesome group on Facebook, go ahead and join the Spiritual Entrepreneurs. Simply go to Facebook and type the Spiritual Entrepreneurs and it will pop up, and it's about 1,700 members growing, and I'm really proud of everyone. They are setting the bar really high. It's not like buy one get one free kind of deal, because I kind of like set the standard. You are better than that. All right, so I want you to think about this week. I want you to think about how you can use your truth and speak your truth with authenticity, with courage, authenticity, and with courage, and see how that feels like for you, right? I mean, because English is not my first language, and my husband and people, good meaning people, will always come and correct my English. But I would say, hey, I'm not teaching English language. I'm teaching people how to make money and build a business. So leave me alone, right? As long as you understand. So who cares, right? So I speak my truth, and this is who I am. So if you want to judge me because I spelled something wrongly, then so be it. God bless you, right? But to me, that's not important. As long as the message is clear, you get what I'm saying, you get my energy, and that's good enough for me, and you get the results. And so yeah, that's what I tell people. And because it's so original, people find it really funny. So I want you to think about how you can be original in your message and how you speak your truth, and you can be hilarious and get the message across. So see my website, see the website here. I invite you to go visit my page and check out and catch up on the post that you have missed out. Otherwise, I will connect with you on Facebook, and of course, go like my page. Is the elyse-anne on the Facebook page. Like my page, and I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye.